So with the overwhelming success of videos 1 and 2, by overwhelming I mean the 22 views I think I got on both of them combined, I'm going to keep this train moving. So we're going to go on to Procreate video number 3. It's actually more like 2.5 than it is 3, but that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my practice image from last time. I have my tree still hiding in here and all that fun stuff, and I have a couple new layers for today. So I'm going to do a few things. One is, how do I get photos into Procreate? So I'm going to go over how to import photos. I'm going to go up to the wrench, insert photo. And I have, actually I'm going to go albums and go recents. I have downloaded a whole bunch of these really cool images of people from county fairs in Oregon and Florida. And there's some really neat people in here I can't wait to draw. Let me go ahead and just grab this cool looking guy here. When the image comes in, I can obviously move my screen by pinching away from my picture, and then when I get my Apple Pencil near my image, or anywhere on here actually, I can move my image around, and I can go ahead and scale up and down my image as I need it. Word of note, photos have only so many pixels. So if you have a really high resolution image, you're going to have a lot of pixels. If you have a very small image like clip art or something, you're going to have less pixels. So blowing it up is not going to go very well. I will shove this over here, turn off my arrow. I'll show you what happens when I try to move it again. I'm going to move it and now it got chopped. So just be mindful that your image will get chopped as soon as you uncheck this box and it goes outside the bounds of your artboard. With Adobe Photoshop that doesn't happen, so I'm not used to that, so a lot of times I'll have things of my image missing. But it's also a nice way to crop, because I can just move this around and kind of do like a quick delete, and now I have an image that's cropped just a little bit better. I'm also going to duplicate this guy here, and I'm going to go ahead and make him black and white. Hue, saturation, and balance, the whole layer. I'm going to go ahead and drain the saturation down. Why would I want to do that? Doing a lot of graphite drawings, and I want my reference images to be black and white, but I like to duplicate it, that way I have both just in case. What I want you to be wary of though is just going ahead and grabbing a tool. Let's grab my blue sketching color, and then just going ahead and starting to trace this stuff in here. So be careful of tracing. That could be a very treacherous road to go down. You can trace to practice. So what I do, so what I did is I imported this guy and I went ahead and traced him right here. What I was doing here was learning. I was trying to find the structure of his face, the structure of his hair, the darks, the lights, and I was learning. But what I actually did was I sketched from a warped image over here. So I kind of took a warped image and then I sketched from that. So be very, very careful of tracing. And I'm going to go in here to my little magic wand. I'm going to go liquify. Liquify is really, really a fun tool. I'm going to make the size a little bigger. I have push, and I'm going to size even bigger, and I'm going to go ahead and push this hat up a little bit. Push this up a little bit. Let's get that chin out here. And this is a really fun way to exaggerate and kind of have some fun at the same time. I'm going to pinch. I'm going to make that ear smaller. Awesome. Let's expand, make that nose just a little bigger. And this is a fun way to learn too, how to exaggerate without losing proportions. I'm going to move that neck way down. And Procreate does a really good job. You can see it filling in as I go, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to make the hat bigger. I'm actually going to make it smaller. And if you messed anything up, you can go to adjust and you can go back to where you were. If you've gone a little too crazy, you can hit reset. I kind of dig that, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that here. Now what I would do from there is I would grab my favorite sketching pencil. I got my favorite sketching color, and then I would go ahead and sketch from this kind of skewed thing. What I like is the problem of going from here that's a brain to drawing. This is the part that I like here. So what I can do from here is I can sketch and start playing this guy's chin. His mouth is kind of funky. We'll go to that in a second. That nose I might move down. He's got this awesome like eye structure in here with these big old bones and wrinkles. And I want this to even come out even more. I'm just running out of room. Should have done that in a separate layer, but that's okay. And then from there I can go ahead and sketch. Yeah, some fun stuff with the different blending modes. Let's do something crazy like linear. And these blending modes are fun. You can do lots of cool stuff with photos and blending modes. You can also do the same thing with your artwork. So I have this kind of mess of stuff here. I'm going to turn these on. If I just go down here, divide's kind of fun, hue's kind of fun, changing the colors underneath. A lot of cool stuff with the blending modes, and obviously I can change the intensity of the blending modes too. So let's say I want to do a color scheme. So I have these color schemes over here. So this is really kind of fun. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. I'm going to import an image. I found this artist's artwork that I really dig. I love his color scheme. So what you can do is I can push and hold, and I can start to sort of borrow, in air quotes, his color scheme. So I'm just making blobs over here. I like this kind of pinky color too. So now I have this artist's color scheme. If I want to edit them, I can push and hold. I got my color, go to my classic. I can make it a little brighter. Push and hold. Make it a little brighter. Oh, I kind of like that. I like this one though. And now I kind of edited. So I kind of made my own from there. The other thing you could do too, is delete this, is I can go into my color palettes, hit the plus, new from photos. I could pick that artist's artwork and it made a color palette based on that image, which is really cool. Sometimes it gives you a little more than you bargained for, but other times it gives you some really nice results. Where's that truck? Right here. Love that. That's really, really, really nice. So now I have that color scheme. I think I already have it. Yeah, from the truck. Here it is from Match Bronco. The other thing, once I get a color scheme, let's say I want to use Match Bronco here as my inspiration. I can select these colors and drag and drop them in here, right? So I'll go on to Matte. So that can take a little while. So this is really neat. They just added this in Procreate 5. So let me get a color and drag it down here. Right here, so continue filling with recolor. I'm going to click on that. Now wherever I tap is going to be the color that's up here. I can change my color, and now I can tap and start filling in my colors. Just be wary that I'm going to choose another color. Watch this one here. It turns to green. Just be wary that as soon as you click on a color, it's going to change the one that you're mousing over. Penning over, pointing at, I guess would be the trick. And now I have this really cool illustration here, and all I did was do the recolor. So again, if I grab a color, I drag and drop, continue filling with recolor, tap, and now I can go ahead and keep selecting my other colors. So that's just some random little tiny tidbits. Might be helpful, might not be helpful. I have a few things coming up next with masks, and I think that is it. Oh, let's talk about transform. Now, there's some really nice features in here when I have the arrow tool, and they're all hiding right down here. I can do freeform, distort, uniform, distort, and warp. So uniform means whenever I pull in this corner, it's going to keep my proportions of my image. If I go freeform, I can obviously squish and do whatever it is I need to do that and reset it. Distort is fun. You can pull the handles and do some cool things by moving this stuff around. Warp is a little bit crazier. You can pull these little nodes in here and you can start flipping these around. You can actually, it gets to be a little wild. It almost makes it look like a folded piece of paper, which is kind of fun, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and reset. You can also flip horizontal, flip vertical, rotate 45. I could fit the screen. I don't know what bilinear does. So that's always nice with the arrow tool. What I also like is this little S right here, which is sort of my free-form drawing tool. I'm not the greatest with this. So I'm not the greatest with all this function right now, but I can invert my selection. So now outside is selected and he isn't selected. Once this is selected like this, I could take my airbrush and I could go ahead and just remove. I could take my drawing tool and draw just over that selection. There's a lot of nice things that can happen in there. Copy paste. If I copy this and paste this, it told me I made a new layer for my selection. I have that little piece as copied and pasted. Now I can go ahead and do whatever I want with that. And now I have two of those things. I can feather my selection. So I can feather this and the amount. Now when I copy paste, you can see it's sort of feathered and kind of soft as it goes out towards the edges. I could color fill. Whatever color I have selected is going to go ahead and fill it. And I go ahead and clear, and it'll clear my selection, which is great. I can also do a rectangle. I could do an ellipse. Whoops. I could do an ellipse. Clear. Do an ellipse, which is nice. Freehand. Automatic. I haven't had much luck with, but whatever, it's there. But anyway, that selection tool come in really handy, not only on images, but it comes in really handy on our artwork as well. So if I want to take something from here, I had it on color fill. I don't want to do that. I want to copy paste. Now I have that piece there. I could duplicate this. Now I have another one. I could do some fun stuff with my blending modes. Let's go down to divide. Oh, look at my abstract art now. This is looking great. I could also make things bigger. I could go ahead and turn them, and I could keep on going that way. So that selection tool can come in very, very handy. There's also a lot better videos on explaining it that are out there, or just playing around and trying to explore it. But that comes in handy trying to move some stuff around on our art.